Hi there, I thought I'd have a chat today about the live music scene. Now, I've been to see quite a few bands over my time, and many of them had excellent sound quality. I went to see Genesis down at Wembley, and the sound quality was amazing. I mean, that's a massive venue, but the sound quality there was very, very good. Granted, you did have to move around the sort of concert area to get where you wanted to get the decent sound. And what I found is anywhere near the mixing desk in those days was very very good sound quality. I also went to see Crowded House at De Montfort Hall, and the sound quality there was very, very good. Been to see loads and loads and loads and loads of bands. Nick Kershaw I went to see at the I think that was in New Street in Birmingham. Sound quality was great there. Went to see the Shadows play. Sound quality was excellent there as well. And now I'm coming up to more recent times. I went down to the Pilton Party. Now, the Pilton Party is the pre-run to Glastonbury. And I went there and I stood in sort of the crowd. I moved around because it was an outdoor concert as much as I could possibly move around to try and get the sound better. But it was distorted and far too loud in certain frequencies. Now, well documented is the loudness wars. Now, what the loudness wars is all about, for anyone that's not really, heard that term before, is basically the louder the better seems to be the preference in today's music. It's almost like they're sort of fighting each other to try and get the loudest sound that they possibly can. Now, also with the introduction of incredibly powerful subwoofers, which give that, whenever you go to a concert and you can feel the vibrations and movement in the air, with the low sounding bass, then that's what I mean by that. And that seems to be put above the clarity of the music nowadays. So when you go and listen to a big concert and you're sitting there and listening, you imagine that they're trying to cater for all. And in some ways they are, but in other ways all they're trying to do is get it as loud as humanly possible without falling into the sort of unhealthy decibel range, the one where everyone from the concert leaves deaf, or with ringing in their ears and things like that. Although I have to say, I think at a live concert in in a massive arena, I do feel that I don't know whether they do properly stick to the rules of decibels. So the first one I went to that was overly loud and distorted was the Pilton Party. And I went there and I actually went near the sound desk and I stood there and I can't stand this. It's way too loud. It's distorting in my ears. And I can't remember what band was on. I think it was... No, sorry, can't remember. It was that memorable. Apart from the only thing that was memorable about it was the fact that it was awful and the sound quality was terrible. So I had a nice little chat to the sound man, the guy that was sitting behind the desk, and I said to him, does it sound distorted to you? And he said, yeah. I said, well, can't you just... He said, no, it's preset, it's programmed. It's all programmed for that particular band, and that's what I've got to present. I said, but it sounds distorted. Yeah, I know. And I didn't understand why you would just agree and say, yeah, I know it sounds distorted, and not be able to do anything about it. Anyway, that was my very first experience with distorted sound at a live venue. And it ruined it for me, so I almost immediately left. And I'd driven all the way down from sort of the West Midlands down to the Pilton Party, spent money on a ticket, and felt that I had to leave because of the sound quality. I'm a musician, and that's one of the key things for me at a live concert, is that the sound sounds good. So we roll on to the next concert that I went to, and that was Coldplay. Now again, this is a massive auditorium, and we went to see auditorium. That's probably the wrong word. It's like an arena. So we went to Wembley, and we saw Coldplay. The atmosphere was electric. The sound quality was okay, but unfortunately now, sorry, I couldn't get my word out then. Unfortunately now, you have very much allocated tickets, so you can't really move around to get to the right place for the sound. So it wasn't great. And again, we were talking loudness wars here. There's far too much bass, there's far too much sub, and it wasn't enjoyable from a sound perspective, but it was a very enjoyable concert because of what was going on and the atmosphere and the you know, thousands and thousands of people with those wristbands on that all lit up, and it was a good concert, and I didn't feel that I didn't get value from it. But in some ways, as a musician, you're going to listen to the sound, and I didn't get that good experience with it. So that's that one. And then I think the next concert I went to listen to was the Foo Fighters. Now, we went to Aston Villa grounds, where their Aston Villa play, and we weren't in the greatest position there either. However, the sound was massively distorted, really loud. Again, the bass frequencies were way too loud. My ears were hurting from the very first song. You may say, well, what do you expect with the Foo Fighters? I mean, it's a loud sort of thing, isn't it? You know, it's like that's what you should expect. But I don't know. And I would have expected it to sound good, and yet it didn't. Again, the experience was very well worth going to see, but it to me, the sound quality is getting worse and worse and worse at live venues. I don't know whether anybody else has experienced this, but if I think just back not that long ago when I used to go and see Paul Carrack, I went to see Paul Carrack many times. His engineer did not overpower any of the systems. He literally made it so well balanced that it was perfect sound. Went to see the world's greatest drummers concert that was put on by my friend Mr. Palmer, and again that's an 18-piece big band. There's a lot of noise created there, but it wasn't too loud. It wasn't quiet by any imagination, but it was perfect. The sound was really good, and I don't understand why these larger concerts are being pushed to the boundaries of our hearing capabilities and almost making us suffer, really. Anyway, please in the comments, if you don't mind, mention what your experiences of live music is. Is it just me? Is it my ears that now can't cope with higher pressure volumes? I don't think that's true, but well, I suppose it could be. And like and subscribe if you like my videos. Thank you very much. Also, I want to explain why there's loads of holes in my t-shirts, and that is because I generally don't get attacked by the cats, but they lovingly put holes in your t-shirts. I'm sure everyone that's got cats realises that. So I don't think I own a t-shirt now without a hole in it. And it seems a bit silly to go out and buy a new t-shirt for every video. So yeah, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.